Keeping a close eye on your forecast. Things quiet to start off with so far for this morning, but more showers and storms are on the way heading into this afternoon. I'll be breaking down all of those forecast details coming up.
And we're just 1 month away from the restart passenger rail service in the Port City. We have the latest details coming up in a live report.
News and weather. Fox 10 Midday starts now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into Fox 10 Midday. Happy July 1st. I'm Ashley Mitchell.
And I'm Jennifer Lambert.
Jen, crazy to think July is officially here. We have July 4th, just a few days away. What can we expect?
And so here's the good news is that we're going to start to see the rain chances drop down just in time for the holiday.
Great timing.
But there's always a trade-off. And in this case, it's going to be those temperatures that are going to be going up by the time we get closer towards that point. But as you do take a look at conditions right now across the southeast, really just starting to see some calm, quiet beginning to this Tuesday. You see all of that green out there, but that's finally going to be that front that's pushing offshore. Meteorologist Matt Barentine, he was tracking it early on this morning as we still had some isolated showers out there to begin for today. Now it's quiet. We're just seeing some of that cloud cover. But as we look in just a little bit closer, it's mainly just going to be any of that green you see out there. It's going to be clutter on the radar. Any of those actual showers mainly going to be closer towards the Florida side, but even then still seeing a lot of those beginning to push offshore. So portions of Escambia and Santa Rosa counties, just some very light isolated showers really just in between Pensacola Beach and Navarre there. Taking a live look outside from our Navigator Credit Union camera at the Battleship. Those winds picking up just a little bit out of the north, but still a beautiful view. Plenty of sunshine out there, but it is hot. Temperatures right now 90 degrees, but those dew points still some very muggy air. They're resting in the upper 70s, so it's feeling more like 104. It's only 11:01 to begin for this morning. Hot and steamy out there. Temperatures all across our area, mainly seeing those lower to mid 80s, upper 80s on the west side of Mobile Bay, but it feels like temperatures all across our area. 101 in Pascagoula, 100 in Leakesville, 105 in Atmore. Hot and toasty. You're almost going to be rooting for some of that rain coverage heading into the rest of this afternoon. Anticipating more of that to begin firing off late afternoon, early evening. Some of those storms could even pack a punch, but I'll be breaking down all of those forecast details and the timing coming up in just a little bit. Ashlyn.
Thank you. Now to our big local story of the day. We've known since last year that Amtrak was going to restart passenger rail service in Mobile after a 2-decade interruption. Well, today we got those details. Fox 10's Brendan Kirby is live now at the Amtrak stop still under construction in downtown Mobile. And Brendan, people can start booking trips today, right?
Yeah, that's right, Ashley, and it's going to take place here at the train stop. There's signs already up, and as you can see, workers are putting the finishing touches on that platform. Here's what we learned this morning. The first train will run on August 18th. That's a Monday. Amtrak officials say that fares will fluctuate from day to day based on demand, but that the one-way tickets will be as low as $15. Those tickets can be purchased today, although some people have experienced glitches on the website. The train is going to run twice a day, leaving Mobile at 6:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. It will stop in 4 Mississippi cities before arriving in New Orleans at 10:30 a.m. and 8:13 p.m. respectively. The trains returning to Mobile will arrive at 11:18 a.m. and 9:14 p.m. There will be discounts for children, students, veterans, and seniors. And as a special promotion for this launch, passengers signed up for Amtrak's rewards program will earn triple points. Nicole Busich, Amtrak's Vice President of Network Development and State-Supported Service, alluded to the years of negotiations and sometimes skepticism that it took to restore the service.
I can think of one word that we can use to describe how we feel today, and that word is finally. And thanks to everyone, we can finally say welcome aboard.
And Amtrak is trying to give this a local feel, and it's not just the name. The service is going to feature a local menu in the dining car of such favorites as muffalata and moon pies. Today in Mobile was the first of 6 planned news conferences all along the Gulf Coast, and we're going to have continuing coverage coming up at Fox 10 News at 4 and 5. Reporting live in Mobile, Brendan Kirby, Fox 10 News.
Brendan, thank you for that exciting update there. Well, new on midday, the city of Foley is adjusting speed limits in more areas. The speed limits on all east-west streets in the southeast quadrant of the city will now drop to 20 miles per hour. That area pictured on your screen now is bordered on the west by Alabama 59 and on the east by South Pecan Street. City leaders say the latest change is part of their efforts to make speed limits more consistent around the city. Well, the Archdiocese of Mobile formally introducing its next Archbishop. He's the Most Reverend Mark Revituso, who has served as Auxiliary Bishop of the Archdiocese of St. Louis since 2017. Archbishop designate Revituso succeeds Archbishop Thomas Rodi, who announced his retirement back in March. The Vatican says the installation mass is expected to take place in about 2 months, but neither a date nor location have been finalized. We'll have more on today's announcement later on Fox 10 News beginning at 4 o'clock. Well, a new law imposing tighter regulations on hemp products in Alabama takes effect today. A judge in Montgomery yesterday denied an effort to block the law from taking effect, though. Canabama in downtown Mobile was the first hemp dispensary to open in the state of Alabama. Owner Jennifer Boozer says it will be one of the first casualties of a new state law tightening those regulations on consumable and smokable hemp products.
I'm going out of business. You know, we lost a lot during COVID. I lost 3 locations, and the financial devastation that COVID brought to a lot of small businesses. And so we were not in a position to take heavy losses.
And let's make it abundantly clear. This is not hemp. This is marijuana. And when field tested for purposes of probable cause, THC levels exponentially higher than would otherwise be lawful under the Farm Bill.
Montgomery County Circuit Judge James Anderson said he's denying the request for a temporary restraining order that would stop the new law from taking effect on smokable and synthetic hemp products until the ABC board or the legislature offers more guidance on what is and is not legal. However, the judge did say that he intends to issue a TRO that addresses issues involving interstate commerce. Well, in national news now, Bryan Kohberger, the man accused of stabbing 4 college students to death, is ready to plead guilty in exchange for the death penalty being taken off the table. Fox News chief correspondent Jonathan Hunt has more from Waz.
The man accused of murdering 4 University of Idaho students in November of 2022 has reached a plea agreement with prosecutors. Bryan Kohberger is expected to plead guilty on Wednesday and, in exchange, will not face the death penalty. The 30-year-old was set to go on trial in August for the stabbing deaths of Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogen and Kaylee Gonsalves in an off-campus home. In a Facebook post, Gonsalves' family expressed outrage at the deal, writing, quote, "We weren't even called about the plea. We received an email with a letter attached. That's how Latah County Prosecutor's Office treats murder victims' families."
Most victims' rights acts in many states require that the state speak to the family, discuss it with the family.
Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson says this is an attempt to get justice for the families, saying the agreement, quote, ensures that the defendant will be convicted, will spend the rest of his life in prison, and will not be able to put you and the other families through the uncertainty of decades of post-conviction appeals.
They could have gotten a conviction, and those same 12 jurors could have said, well, we don't want to give him the death penalty.
No motive has ever emerged for the killings, but authorities say surveillance video and cell phone data shows Kohberger visited the victim's neighborhood multiple times before the murders. If the judge accepts the plea, Kohberger is expected to be sentenced later this month to life in prison. In Boise, Idaho, Jonathan Hunt.
Meanwhile, President Donald Trump has landed in Florida to attend the opening of a new immigration detention center. The ICE facility, dubbed Alligator Alcatraz, is located at the Dade Collier Training and Transition Airport in the Florida Everglades. Ahead of boarding Marine One, President Trump talked about his big, beautiful bill while Congress continues its marathon vote series.
We're going out to Alligator Alcatraz. It's an East Coast version, and it should be very exciting, very good. Worked very hard on it with Ron and everybody, and I think it's going to be great. And then I'll be back here fighting for the bill, and I hear it's going okay. We'll move it along.
Now, the Senate is continuing its, quote, vote-a-rama on the big, beautiful bill, which contains tax cuts, spending changes, and provisions related to border security and immigration. President Trump says he wants it passed before the July 4th holiday weekend. And the Senate's marathon vote session on amendments to the big, beautiful bill continued through the night Monday and into Tuesday morning. Right now, Democrats are united in their opposition to the president's domestic policy bill, and there are still several Republicans who are on the fence. With 2 GOP senators already firm no's, the party can only afford to lose one more yes vote and still pass the legislation. Fox's Caroline Shively has the very latest from Washington.
It's a record-breaking day in the U.S. Senate, not for bills passed, but for the number of votes in a vote-a-rama.
Democrats have stayed up literally all night, offering amendments, voting on amendments to try and make this ugly, so-called big, beautiful bill less harmful to the American people.
Republicans are trying to squeak out enough votes to pass President Trump's big, beautiful bill. The measure slashes Medicaid and clean energy, increases funding for defense and immigration enforcement, and renews the 2017 tax cuts. Senator Thom Tillis declared he was a no vote, but still had praise for some parts of the bill.
We need to get every bit of what we did in 2017 back on the books because people are not understanding the pro-growth nature of this tax policy.
If you are going to ruin people's lives by kicking them off their health care or cutting their food stamps, don't make the moral injury even worse by padding the pockets of the richest people in the country.
The Congressional Budget Office estimates the Senate bill will add more than $3 trillion to the debt over 10 years.
These Republican senators that know this bill is a pig, no matter how much lipstick you put on it, it's going to come back to haunt them.
Former Doge head Elon Musk calls the bill insane and says if it passes, he'll establish a third political party. Trump responded Tuesday morning.
You know what Doge is? Doge is the monster that might have to go back and eat Elon. Wouldn't that be terrible?
After the Senate, the bill goes back to the House for yet another vote. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Coming up on Fox 10 Midday, we're taking a look at how people and animals alike are beating the heat out there. And the Red Cross is working around the clock to help those in need of blood. Now they're turning to communities around the nation to pitch in. We'll have more, but first, Jen, it's feeling like a hot one for the first day of July.
Yeah, that is exactly right, Ashlyn. The temps are heating up, blast that AC. And just in case you are heading out the door anytime soon, here is a traffic alert for your Tuesday after, or really midday. What we're starting to see is some of that congestion building on I-10 westbound in case you're heading out across the Bayway. Causeway moving smoothly, so those drive times right now, 28 minutes on the Bayway, 9 minutes on the Causeway. Give someone a call, give them a heads up in case they're traveling from Baldwin to Mobile counties anytime soon. But I'll talk more about that steamy forecast coming up when we come back.
Welcome back. It happens every summer. The blood supply in the U.S. dips as people get away from their normal routines and fewer blood drives are held. But the American Red Cross says it needs blood year-round, and right now the organization is working to prevent shortages. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more on the need and a new promotion actually starting today that might encourage donors to go ahead and roll up their sleeves.
From surgeries to emergencies, blood can be a critical key to keeping a patient alive. But often in summer, donor turnout dips.
Even though everybody else is taking a vacation during the summer, the need for blood doesn't stop and doesn't take a vacation.
Dr. Courtney Lawrence with the American Red Cross says the organization typically reaches their lowest supply in late summer, early fall. But they're trying to prevent shortages by calling all donors to give. While all blood types are needed, type O is especially in high demand.
It used to be thought that type O negative was the only blood type that could be given to people in an emergency, pregnancy, but we actually know that even O positive can be given safely to about 80% of the population who needs blood.
To encourage summer blood donation, the Red Cross has teamed up with the company Gooder. All who come to give blood through the organization from July 1st through 14th will get an exclusive pair of sunglasses while supplies last.
They actually come with stickers that you can personalize with your blood type. So less than 3% of the American population chooses to donate blood every year. So if you want to show off and be part of that proud percent, you have the opportunity to do so with these sunglasses in the first half of July.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
New this morning, dozens of people were evacuated after a mudslide in Austria covered homes and mountain huts. Listen to this. Nearly 100 people were transported via helicopter from the western Austria state of Tyrol after a mudslide that was brought on by severe thunderstorms Monday evening drenched homes in mud, debris, and water. A local fire department official says the mudslides in the village of Schnitz caused a creek to overflow, flooding that nearby area. Thankfully, as of right now, no injuries have been reported. Well, tourists visiting without tickets to the Eiffel Tower today were told to postpone their visit as the landmark closed its summit until this Thursday because of an intense heat wave. The National Weather Agency put multiple departments on the highest red alert, warning of a higher risk of wildfires in that area. The heat wave is expected to be at its peak today, and the Education Ministry says more than 1,300 schools will be either partially or fully closed. Climate experts say upcoming summers will most likely be warmer than previous summers. The weather agency saying France may have a 10-fold increase in the amount of heat wave days by 2100.
Taking another look at your forecast and a live view outside down in Pensacola Beach, and it is looking stunning out there. Really calm, vibrant water conditions, plenty of sunshine, a lot of folks getting out there and enjoying it for this Tuesday. So in case the beach is in your plan over the next few days, don't worry, we'll continue to see more of these nice conditions. But taking a look at what it's feeling like out there, it's pretty toasty. Those temperatures are resting in the lower 80s, a very calm wind out there, and so that's also leading to some higher humidity. It's not really helping us out despite it being out of the north, but the feels like temperatures just resting in the upper 80s. So we're starting to notice that trend of those temperatures straying away, noticing that in Escambia County, Florida, and it's only going to continue all across the Gulf Coast as we get further on into this afternoon. Daytime highs going to be maxing out really the mid to upper 80s. A few isolated lower 90s out there, but mainly anticipating those 80s for today. This is going to be getting closer to average for where we should be today, especially after yesterday. Our daytime high only maxed out in the upper 70s because of all of that rain coverage that we saw. Luckily, we're nowhere near that previous record of 99 set back in 1883, but we're still going to be feeling more like it. Those heat indices taking that humidity into account, feeling more like the upper 80s. Even then, it's accounting for some of those rain showers heading into this afternoon, anticipating many spots that if you're seeing more sunshine and dry conditions, feeling more like the mid to upper 90s, and even already seeing some triple digits out there. It's hot and toasty to begin for today. Those heat indices will only continue to stay high as we get closer towards the weekend. Now, something that does stick out to me is that by Friday and Saturday, our daytime highs are going to be significantly warmer than what we're seeing today, really maxing out in the mid 90s. Yet the feels like temperatures not straying away too much, especially on July 4th. And so we're going to start to see some lower dew points out there, but still feeling muggy, still feeling sticky. So regardless, stay hydrated, take breaks, and get creative with those ways to cool down if you are spending time outdoors. Timing things out in our futurecast, we're starting off for this morning. Things are calm and quiet for right now, but only anticipating more of these showers and storms to begin firing off heading into this afternoon. Getting closer towards 2 and 3 o'clock, that rain coverage only beginning to grow, continues closer towards the dinner time hour. Could even see some gusty winds within some of those storms, along with heavy downpours, frequent lightning, gusty winds as mentioned. Small hail still possible and some loud thunder. Now it's also beginning to show just some of those storms training, meaning that they're staying a bit more stationary heading into tonight. We'll have to keep a close eye on that heading into this evening. Meteorologist Nicholas Herbosa will keep you updated on Fox 10 News at 4, 5, 9, and 10 o'clock heading into this tonight. The rip current risk at our local beaches, moderate today, low heading into tomorrow and Thursday. And then as we do take a look at the next 7 days, we're really beginning to dry out just in time for the July 4th holiday. But I mentioned at the top of the show, there's a trade-off. Those temperatures maxing out in the mid-90s. It's turning hot out there. But I'll talk more about your forecast coming up in just a little bit. More Fox 10 Midday is on the way. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back. The time is 11:25 on your Tuesday, and starting today, you can expect to see even more commercials before movies at AMC theaters all across the nation. A deal was announced in early June between AMC and advertising giant National CineMedia. AMC Entertainment will run ads in the Platinum spot immediately ahead of a movie's start. AMC says the pre-show material, which includes trailers and other promotions, can last up to 30 minutes. The deal will mean more ad sales for AMC, as we're told. The theater chain hopes this is a boost for its bottom line after seeing its worst first quarter earnings since 1996 outside of the pandemic. And listen to this, Hollywood is bringing some of its potentially biggest summer blockbusters to theaters in the month of July. Rick Damigella breaks it down.
This island was the research facility for the original Jurassic Park.
Dinosaurs stomp back into theaters ahead of the 4th of July weekend with the arrival of Jurassic World Rebirth. The 7th movie in the Toothy franchise finds Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali on yet another secret research island with even more dangerous prehistoric creatures than in previous films.
Hey buddy, eyes up here.
July 11th sees the arrival of James Gunn's Superman. The highly anticipated beginning of the new DC Universe franchise stars David Corenswet as the Man of Steel, Rachel Brosnahan as news reporter Lois Lane, and Nicholas Hoult as the villainous Lex Luthor.
This summer, when we need a hero, look up.
I think I just smurfed my pants.
Those familiar little blue characters head back to theaters in Smurfs. The live-action CGI hybrid features an all-star voice cast, including Rihanna as Smurfette. The Smurf is on July 18th.
Please welcome the Fantastic Four.
And on July 25th, Marvel's first family flies into theaters in Fantastic Four: First Steps. The latest entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe pits the team against Galactus the Planet Eater and stars Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and Ebon Moss-Backrack. Getting refills of popcorn in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
All right, lots coming up there. Well, coming up on Fox 10 Midday, as many begin to head out for the 4th of July holiday, AAA is reporting some good news about gas prices. We'll have those numbers for you. And economists are warning that the price of the dollar is weakening. We'll tell you about that. But before we go, let's say hi to Jen.
And we're checking in on the traffic conditions out there, Ashlyn. And in case you were traveling from Baldwin to Mobile County anytime soon, just a heads up that there is that accident out there. It looks to maybe have cleared, but we're still starting to wait on some of that congestion to move out of here. So here's a live view outside. That traffic is moving smoothly out there. Again, just a few more cars to just pack that patience in case you're heading out anytime soon. Those drive times improving. They're dropping closer towards 25 minutes on the Bayway, still 8 minutes on the Causeway. So if you know anyone heading this direction anytime soon, give them a call, give them a heads up. That way they know. I'll continue to monitor not only your forecast, but also your traffic conditions, and I'll have more details on the weather coming up after this.
Welcome back. If you're looking for a fun and artistic way to spend the day, Color Me Mine in Pensacola could be just the place. Vanessa Pacheco is trying her hand at pottery painting.
If you know me, you know I love art, and this right here is very Vanessa. I am at Color Me Mine, Pensacola. I'm joined by the owner, Suzanne Day. So we're doing two different techniques today. So what are you working on?
I'm working on bubbles.
Okay.
It's, in my opinion, one of the most fun things that you can do. It's super messy. It's okay, but you get this great effect. It's just a mixture of the paint, a little dishwashing detergent, a little water, and a little air.
Very neat. Okay, so what technique am I working on this
You're
morning?
doing lace.
Okay, so we're doing these two different techniques. Tell me about Color Me Mine Pensacola overall.
So we are a paint your own pottery studio. I have hundreds of different pieces to choose from, all functional. You know, basic plates, cups, mugs, even like items for your home decor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I noticed that.
Yes.
So you got a little bit of everything.
A little bit of every. There's something for everyone, and no matter your artistic ability, you can create something beautiful. That's the whole point.
I've learned that because I'm just everywhere with this blue paint. Okay, so I think I covered most of it, right?
You're good.
Okay, so what's the next step in this technique?
So now all you have to do is the reveal.
Okay, so do I
would start right here in the corner and just peel away.
Oh, this is turning out so cute. I do feel a little bit more artistic. Look at this. So cute. And if someone stops by, these are items that they can just get if they want a piece of lace.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
we have all kind of techniques to try, and we will walk you through it if you'd like.
I love that. Now, Suzanne, walk me through the step at the very end. Once someone has completed their piece, what happens next?
So you are finished.
Okay.
All the magic's going to happen. You're going to leave. I'm going to take that to the back. I am going to dip it in clear glaze, fire it, and then about 7 days later, you're going to come back and pick it up, and it's going to be very beautiful, all nice, shiny, smooth, with a delicate pattern on top.
I love that. This has been really fun. Now, for anyone that wants more information about Color Me Mine Pensacola, where can they go?
So we have a website, just Color Me Mine Pensacola, and also Instagram or Facebook. That's where we have all of our events, like the one happening today.
I love that. All right, so we of course have to continue finishing this piece up, but so much fun, you guys. Very Vanessa here. If you want to stop by, they're located at Pensacola, and we'll of course have all that information, fox10tv.com, and click on the Very Vanessa tab. Suzanne, thank you so much.
Thanks for coming.
So cute.
That beach ball glass was absolutely adorable. Well, let's go ahead and take a live view outside. We're checking in on the Eastern Shore in Fairhope, and calm and quiet conditions. A little cloudy, a little overcast out there, but still feeling warm and toasty. Not much movement with the flag out there as the wind's pretty stationary and stagnant to begin, but more and more of that construction taking place down there at the pier. Excited for it to finally open, but even looks like they have some gates up to where you can access the pier for this morning. But taking a look at those temperatures out there, it's hot and it's toasty. We're resting in the mid 80s, mid to upper 80s really in Fairhope, plus also West Mobile, and dew points upper 70s in both locations. Some calm winds, so it feels like temperatures even warmer. We don't have that nice breeze out there to help cool us down just a bit, so it's feeling more like the mid to upper 90s, and only anticipating those numbers to go up as we get further along into this afternoon. Taking a look at radar out there, already starting to see some of those showers and storms firing off closer towards central Mississippi. Still some showers and storms just offshore. Quiet for us right now, but that's going to be changing by this afternoon. Only anticipating more of those showers and storms to begin firing off, moving into our portion of the Gulf Coast. And the storm motion is mainly going to be from the north to the south. Still some heavy downpours, frequent lightning, gusty winds possible within any of these storms, along with that loud thunder out there. Just make sure you're driving carefully when thunder roars. Go indoors. Keep that in mind for any of the pool or the beach goers. Once that sun begins to set, we start to notice that coverage begins to die down just a bit, but still showing some of those stationary storms even continuing into this evening. Temperatures later on today, it's going to be hot and toasty, maxing out around average, really the upper 80s, possibly a few isolated lower 90s, but it feels like temperatures more in the upper 90s, the triple digits. Right here, it's accounting for some of those rain showers heading into the second half of today. But a live view outside, things looking great down in Orange Beach, really stunning closer towards Perdido Pass. A lot of folks getting out there and enjoying it, but the ripcord risk at our local beaches really moderate for today. Some yellow flags out there. Low by tomorrow and Thursday. Today's surf height around 1 to 2 feet, but regardless, always know the name of the beach you're located on, where the closest lifeguard stand is, and pay close attention to those beach flags. Mainly noting the yellow flags for today. Not quite seeing any of those purple flags to start off with for this morning, but if you do see any, it's likely going to indicate some of the jellyfish out there. Checking in on the tropics, there is one area that we're monitoring really in the northern Gulf. It hasn't developed yet. We're anticipating this to potentially become an area of low pressure heading closer towards the weekend, not impacting us. It's going to be staying further off towards the east. So if you're traveling for July 4th, that's where you might see some of those impacts. Tampa, Orlando, Fort Lauderdale, Fort Myers, Miami, southern Georgia, South Carolina, increased rain chances, unsettled weather. Not too concerned about it becoming anything tropical, but anything in the northern Gulf this time of year, we have to keep a close eye on it. We'll keep you updated, but our forecast is turning quiet by that point. We're really drying out by the end of the week. Temperatures go up. I'll talk more about your forecast coming up in just a little bit.
Jen, thank you. Right now, we're talking about fresh records on Wall Street. A major loss for French car maker Renault. L'Oreal taps into the rapid growth of high-end hair products, and more robots are preparing your Amazon delivery. Here's Fox's CJ Papa with today's business headlines.
Wall Street made an impressive comeback after steep declines in April. For the quarter ending in June, the Dow gained nearly 5%. The S&P 500 over 10.5%, its largest quarterly percentage gain since the fourth quarter of 2023. And the Nasdaq had its best quarter in 5 years, up 17.75%. Meta closing at an all-time high Monday, its first record close since February. Nvidia notched its fourth straight record close. French automaker Renault says it will see an $11 billion hit for the first half of this year, because of changes in the way it figures its stake in Nissan, though the financial hit should not impact its business or its dividend. Renault owns more than a third of Nissan. A merger in the beauty biz. L'Oreal is buying hair care brand Color Wow. The business was founded in 2013. It's based in Connecticut and has a loyal following of stylists and consumers. And Amazon is approaching a new milestone. The Wall Street Journal says the company could soon be using as many robots as humans in its warehouses. Amazon currently has more than 1 million robots automating tasks previously done by humans, with about 75% of its global deliveries helped by robotics in some way. CJ Papa, Fox News.
Okay, listen up. Good news for drivers hitting the road this 4th of July holiday weekend. The price of summer holiday gas hasn't been this cheap since 2021. According to Gas Buddy, prices at the pump are expected to average between $3.10 and $3.15 per gallon nationally. In fact, that's down from $3.49 per gallon just last year. According to AAA, a record-setting 61.6 million people are expected to travel by car this 4th of July weekend, which is actually up 2.2% compared to last year. Well, when we come back on Fox 10 Midday, Netflix is joining in collaboration with NASA. We'll tell you what that's all about. And an endangered wild animal finds himself a brand new family. We'll have more in just a moment. Listen to this. An endangered wild foal in Minnesota is getting a second chance thanks to an unlikely hero.
Marit was born with a limb deformity, which made it difficult for him to stand and move with the herd.
When the foal's condition deteriorated, he required emergency veterinary treatment at the University of Minnesota.
Marit recovered, but then faced another challenge. His mother rejected him.
So a domestic horse named Alice, who'd recently lost her own foal, stepped in to take care of him.
Oh, the Minnesota Zoo says this is one of the first times a Przewalski's foal has been fostered by a domestic horse.
That's incredible. Marit will stay with Alice for just a few months before being reintroduced to the rest of his herd.
Fewer than 2,000 of them exist today, so each foal is considered critical to the species' survival. Yay, Alice.
How sweet
Yay, Marit.
is that? She got a little adopted son. That's precious. Look at him.
Aww.
I was a big horse girl growing up. Were you? Did you go through a horse phase?
I did.
So sweet. Well, listen to this now. NASA is actually teaming up with Netflix to stream its own content this summer.
I'm not surprised. The space agency announced rocket launches, spacewalks, and mission coverage will be available on the streaming platform.
That's incredible. NASA says this will make its work in science and exploration more accessible.
Schedules and programming details will be announced closer to the launch.
And NASA Plus will still be available through the NASA app or on the agency's website completely for free. I might have to get Netflix again. I'm just on Hulu and Disney Plus right now.
I was saying, I think this trend is only growing. We've seen it with some of the fights out there, the UFC fights, and so I think that it's a growing trend that you're going to find more and more of the streaming on Netflix.
Absolutely. And to be able to watch this from the comfort of your own home is incredible. Alrighty. I love it. Well, ice is helping polar bears and other animals get by during an extreme heat wave going through Europe.
Elliot and Gregor are polar bears that are keeping cool by rolling around in ice that was distributed to their open air enclosure.
They are. Prague Zoo Director Miroslav Bobek says they believe they will need to hand out ice to some animals at least 10 days this summer.
He says that polar bears are a huge concern during these high temperatures. 10 tons of ice were distributed to the animals at the zoo.
A lot of ice. Temperatures are expected to reach 93 degrees Fahrenheit in large parts of the Czech Republic and will rise to over 98 degrees Fahrenheit tomorrow.
Wow, so the zoo gives out ice to animals that are used to it in their native habitat and to other animals that will just have some fun with it. I like to see them rolling around in it.
Yes, and definitely want to find some creative ways for your own pets and animals here during this heat as well, Jen, right?
Yeah, that is exactly right. You want to find those creative ways to cool down for both yourself, your kiddos, and also your furry family members heading into this weekend. And just a reminder, a great way to stay updated on the forecast, know just how hot it's going to be getting, is by downloading the Fox 10 weather app. We do have this hourly forecast that's built in, and not only will it have the temperatures on there, plus also next to it you're going to see those feels like temperatures. So this is showing by 2 o'clock we're going to be resting around 90 degrees but feeling more like 103, and you can format that to all be for your location. But let's go ahead and take another live view outside from our Navigator Credit Union camera at the Battleship. Just starting to see more of that cloud cover beginning to build in. A little gray and gloomy at times. That rain coverage anticipating it to begin firing off not too long from now, really beginning of the afternoon. But look at that, temperatures 90 degrees, feeling like 104 downtown at Mobile International Airport. Forecast temperatures later on today going to be maxing out mid to upper 80s, a few isolated 90s out there. Feels like temperatures though easily going to be getting mid to upper 90s, even the triple digits. We're already seeing that to begin for today. Stay hydrated, take breaks, find some AC. Again, get creative with ways to cool down. But here's timing things out on our futurecast. So we're already seeing some of those isolated showers closer towards Hattiesburg beginning to fire off. Things still quiet on the Florida Panhandle, but as we make our way into early afternoon, really by 2-3 o'clock, that's when that coverage begins to really ramp up. Heavy downpours, frequent lightning, gusty winds possible within any of these storms. That'll continue closer towards the dinner time hour. Less coverage once that sun sets just a little bit before 8 o'clock, but some of those storms still could be a little stationary tonight. I'll have a final look at your 10-day outlook coming up in just a little bit. We'll also be back with 3 to know before you go, but for right now, a live view outside down on Dauphin Island.
Right, a fun story as we wrap up midday today. Jaws and claws shine as athletes in dinosaur duds take on the track. Patrick Cornell shares the prehistoric hilarity in today's Take a Look at This.
And we're off to a roaring start. Short arms, long legs, pumping down the track, neck and neck. It's kind of a carnage. A tumble on the inside lane, and we have a winner.
I am exhausted just watching that chaos. High-flying and dashing dinos highlighted the 2025 T-Rex races at Emerald Downs Racetrack in Washington. In the men's event, Andrew Stuber of Houston, Texas outlasted the Cretaceous competition, narrowly crossing the finish line ahead of the pack. Another highlight of the day started 5,000 feet in the sky as we see dinos fly like a meteor down to Earth. Thankfully, no crash landings this time. Safely hitting the ground and eventually racing parachute intact to the end of the race. Seemingly a excellent day for everyone involved, though the shenanigans might have left them a little Saurus. Get it? Saurus? Saurus? Yeah, okay. And a big old bump had workers racing to get this elderly elephant back on its feet. 47-year-old African elephant Jenny C got knocked over at a feeding station by another elephant, according to Rochester, New York's Seneca Park Zoo. When she was unable to stand up on her own, animal care teams brought in a crane to heroically hoist the animal back up to her feet. The zoo says Jenny is now stable and being watched by veterinarians to make sure she's okay. Sometimes we all need a helping hand, and this rhino found that in the form of a friend. 14-year-old Ethel is reveling in a new rhinoceros in her exhibit at the Cameron Park Zoo in Waco, Texas. Ethel spent a year alone after her exhibit mate passed away, KWTX reports. The zoo recently introduced a young rhino named Mosi to keep Ethel company, and apparently the pair quickly became best buddies.
They had a little bit of a tussling of figuring out their kind of dominance, and after that, now they spend most of their day together, just hanging out.
For Take a Look at This, I'm Patrick Cornell.
All right, and it's time for 3 to know before you go on your Tuesday. One of the largest pharmacy benefit managers is no longer covering the GLP-1 drug known as Zepbound. Zepbound has been approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration since 2023 for chronic weight management in adults with obesity or who are overweight. CVS Caremark said its decision to exclude Zepbound will force competition among drug manufacturers and encourage them to lower prices for their products in the U.S. CVS Caremark serves as a middleman for health insurers and other payers to manage their prescription drug plans. Well, the Department of Justice is charging hundreds of people in what it's calling the largest healthcare fraud bust in department history. Listen to this. The investigation, known as Operation Gold Rush, uncovered nearly $15 billion in false claims, even seizing more than $245 million in cash, luxury vehicles, cryptocurrency, and other assets. State and federal prosecutors have charged more than 320 people, and one of the cases involved a $10 billion urinary catheter scheme. Finally, Alabama Governor Kay Ivey says that education accounts established under the state's CHOOSE Act are now fully funded and available for the 2025-2026 school year. Families that were approved during the application process earlier this year can now access their funds through the Class Wallet platform. Now, you should have received a welcome email with instructions on how to access the funds and how to use them. Funding includes $7,000 per eligible student enrolled at a participating school and $2,000 per participating student enrolled in a home education program. Lots of good information there. And Jen, it's crazy to talk about school, but it is July 1st. I know the summer is going to fly by.
July 1st already. August will be here before we know it. Well, let's go ahead and take a final look at your forecast. So heading into today, it's mainly calm and quiet for right now, but we are only going to start to see more of these showers and storms beginning to fire off as we do make it further along into the rest of today. So really by 2-3 o'clock, that's where we're going to start to notice some of that rain coverage beginning to ramp up out there. Some of these storms could be a little stronger, some frequent lightning, some gusty winds, some loud thunder, all possible. So just make sure that you are driving carefully out there. We'll see more of these showers and storms continue by the time we make it closer towards 5 and 6 o'clock. And so in case you're making dinner plans, making plans to head on out towards this evening, just make sure you have that rain gear ready to go. We get closer towards sunset. That's when some of that rain coverage begins to fizzle out. We'll be looking a lot better by the time that we do get closer towards really 9-10 o'clock, but some of those showers could still be lingering further towards our inland areas. Will turn quiet overnight. But over the next 10 days, this summertime pattern, it's going to be turning a little quiet out there, but there is going to be a trade-off. By the time that we get towards the end of the week, those rain chances drop down, but those temperatures go up. We're going to be maxing out mid-90s, feeling pretty hot by the time that we make it closer towards the weekend, really starting to feel some of those toasty temps, the humidity by Saturday and Sunday. And then by next week, that's when we start to see some of those rain chances beginning to ramp up. Still a little too early to focus on that forecast for the red, white, and blues down in Pensacola Beach. But as we do get closer, we'll keep you updated. But just hoping everyone is being careful today if you find yourselves in any of those storms.
For sure. Jen, you'll be on vacation the rest of the week. We're so excited for you. Enjoy every second for sure. Thanks so much for watching Fox 10 Midday. Have a great rest of your Tuesday.